Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Tuned In with Jim Cummings. As always, we're joined by producer Brendan. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm fantastic. Thanks for having me.
Our guest today is Kathleen Herles. Nice of you to join us.
Hi, thanks for having me.
And the crowd went wild. Yeah.
And of course, as usual, the man of the hour, Jim Cummings. How are you doing today, Jim?
Oh, it's another day in paradise, but I hope everybody will forgive me. I've got a little bit of a head cold. But the good news is you probably can't even catch a germ of it. So I think you're all pretty safe.
It's one of the risks you take when you go to the conventions, though, right? When you're dealing with all those people.
Well, on the road again, yeah. We're really on the road this time for a good long time. So I'm glad to be back, and I'm glad you're here, Kathleen. Let's hear it. Yes.
Thank you. Yes, I think I'm actually going to meet you in person at Smoky Mountain Fest in August. I think I saw your name
Good,
on
good.
that list. So, yeah, I'm excited.
Well, you know, I have one thing to say to you.
Yes.
Actually, Winnie the Pooh does. Dulce como la miel.
I love it. If you guys don't know, miel means honey. Or I should probably say it in Dora's voice.
Yes,
In
please.
English, we say honey. In Spanish, we say miel. Can you
Wow.
say miel?
Oh, miel. Yes, I can. I hope I said you're as sweet as honey.
Yes, you did. Yes.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Now I'm okay now.
In case you're
I
wondering,
got through
Kathleen is
that.
the voice of Dora the Explorer.
Yes. If you didn't
Case you're
catch that.
wondering. Yeah, just a little indicator there. And what
Yes.
fun. I mean, my gosh.
Yeah, it's been
Dora's-
a crazy journey and adventure. I started when I was so young too. I don't know how much you guys know, but I was cast when I was 7 years old, and I'm 33 years old now. So I feel like it's been like a lifetime ago since I, brought Dora to life. But yeah, it's been a wild ride for sure.
That is so funny. That is wonderful.
I gotta say
That's it.
congratulations, by the way, of now being Dora's mother on the new reboot.
Yes. Yep. So there's a Dora reboot exclusively right now on Paramount Plus, and they brought me back as Dora's mom. So it's like a full circle moment.
Oh my gosh.
It's really, really exciting too. And the show is great. It's awesome.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
everybody tune in. You have your
Yes.
marching orders.
Tune in.
Paramount Plus.
Yes.
Let's do it. I love that. That's wonderful. So you're in New York. Now I do a lot of stuff from home. Is
Oh,
that the
nice.
case with you?
Yes,
do you
for
go?
sure.
Yeah.
There is a studio though that we record in Manhattan, which is not too far from me. So sometimes it's just easier just to go in and just record in
Yeah.
the studio.
Yeah. Well, you know,
If it's
I
possible.
like that too because I have like a blue collar attitude toward a no collar career. You know, I feel like I'm going to work.
Yes.
And then I go and talk to myself and act crazy.
No, I
and
love
then
that
they pay
too.
me and it's good. And you know exactly what's going on with that,
Yeah.
don't you?
Yeah, I do. I have to take the train to go into the city. So I just make a day of it, kind of like I go into Manhattan, then I just go get a sweet treat after I record at like some cute cafe, and then go back home.
Good for you. Yeah. I would imagine. Now, seriously, do people go up to you and go, excuse me, do you by any chance know Dora the Explorer?
So, okay, it's really interesting because growing up, we didn't have social media. And
Right.
just saying that is kind of weird because our lives are, surrounded by social
my
media.
gosh.
So I had no way of telling people or people really knowing like who I was.
Sure.
And I don't think people in school really understood what voice acting was even to begin with. So when I would say, oh, I'm going to record, they're like, what? Like, what are you doing? So
Okay.
it was just really different. But now, last year was my first year experiencing like the con circuit. So before I started attending them, my manager at the time was like, you really need to create like a social media presence. Like people need to know who you are, where you're going to be. Because I never posted about my life as Dora and all of that beforehand. So I was like, I don't know if people really care about Dora anymore, or me, in fact,
Oh, wow.
So I started posting, and the response that I got was incredible. I was blown away, overwhelmed, and I was like, wow, like people still love her and still know her. It
course.
was just really, really overwhelming, but in a great way. So now I feel like I've had more interactions with people like outside, and they're like, wait, I think I've seen you like on TikTok. Like, are you Dora?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, yeah, that's me. So
Yeah. All right. They'll say, are you famous, or you just kind of remind me of my uncle? And I said, I'm probably your uncle. I don't know.
So there's a funny story. When I was posting a lot very frequently, I don't know how the algorithm works, but I feel like it like pushes out to like locally to where you are, I think, at first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I got a delivery from like my UPS driver who, like, after a while you get to know, like, you know, you get to know them personally. But before that, we just moved to a new place, and he was like, oh, you know, I was at, you know, the local restaurant, and people were telling me like who you were and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, you mean, you know, Dora the Explorer? And he's like, yeah, people were saying like that you live here. And I was like, oh, cool. Like, it's really fun.
Well,
But
why not? There's a lot to explore.
yeah, exactly.
So it makes sense.
But yeah, I don't know. It's cool to have like kind of people recognize you here and there. But,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, do you have on-camera aspirations as well? Because you're you're a doll.
Oh, thank you.
goodness.
As of right now, I don't. Growing up, I did. I think after I was recast, I was like, you know, I think I just want to do on camera. I kind of wanted to figure out who I was outside of Dora, just because when I was voicing Dora, it was really all that I could do. I mean, with school and being a kid, and for Dora, we did so many things, toys, games, like it just took up a lot of my time.
Absolutely.
And I did a few like on camera things too as a kid. But I think when I was 18, I was like, okay, I want to be like, you know, a TV actor and a movie actor and figure all that out. And I tried to do that for a few years, also going to college here in New York. And it didn't really work out for me too much. So I kind of like lost the passion. I didn't want to move to LA really yet at the time. And then after a while, I was like, you know, I need to pay my bills. I was like 25 and I was like, I need something steady. I want to, you know, build a stable life for a little bit. And so I did that for a few years, and then COVID happened and I lost my job in interior design. And I was like, okay, maybe now that I can audition at home now, I was like, maybe let me start doing that and try to just see if I can, you know, book something. And when I started doing that, I started to realize like how much I missed voice acting and being in the booth and recording and doing all of those things. And that's when I was kind of like, maybe I want to do this again. Maybe on camera and TV isn't really like my place. Like I always loved and felt comfortable in a booth and doing voices. So
Was it daunting getting back into the world of VO?
yes. Because it's a different world now. It's a different industry than when I was a kid. I mean, talk about the technical aspects of it. Now, you know, you're alone. You don't have like someone in the booth or a director or a booth director to tell you like, this is what you're auditioning for. This is what they're looking for. It's kind of like, okay, here's a script. Yeah, they just, and you have to be, so you have to be a director, you have to be an engineer, you have to figure everything out. And I feel like at the time, because I had this iconic role, people like would just assume like, oh, you know what you're doing, or you should know what you're doing. I don't have to tell you. But then at the same time, I'm like, no, but like I need to learn. Like there's so much that I don't know, and so many things, and I just felt like I didn't have the tools. Like I lost my foundation, and that's kind of like what I'm
it's good to get that
building back
feedback.
up. And
it's
the
good
feedback.
to get the feedback, you know, like, you know, like you can easily, I have misunderstood lines my whole career, and they go, oh, in other words, he wasn't being sarcastic. He was, because, you know, that's like a natural tendency for me, because you could take any number of lines 13 different ways, you know.
For sure. So
you know, it really
it was
helps.
really difficult.
Well, now you're an accomplished director and producer and recording engineer and actress.
I got my own plaques and just hang them.
Yeah, that's great.
Maybe they'll invite you back to Sesame Street.
Yeah, I know. Stop. That would be so crazy. I'd love that. Listen, auditioning for Sesame Street as a kid was like you won the lottery, like once they picked you, because it was so hard to get into. And my mom was like, just always trying to get me to audition again and again. She's like, they're going to pick you. They're going to pick you. And then like, obviously once they pick you to be one of the kids, then they just bring you back constantly. But it's really funny watching myself on those episodes because I start off so young and then I'm like 12, like also as a kid, I'm like, okay, I think it's just like, I was like, okay, that should be the last episode. I was like, I'm getting too old for Sesame Street, but it's
you're
really
getting
cool.
too old?
Yeah, I
boy.
felt like at the time.
Wow. Is it true what they say about Big Bird? He's just a huge prima donna.
No, not at all. I think I was just too scared from seeing all the people rolling around under the puppets.
I made that up anyway, so I just thought I'd throw that out there. If I would have been dying to go, you know what? It's so true. I could not stand that guy. With the feathers all over. Oh,
Do you imagine? We start like this huge rumor about things.
I found it interesting with Sesame Street for the kids, right? Because when you're a kid, you're watching Sesame Street, and these characters, they're brought to life. They're people in your eyes. So when you went to Sesame Street as a child, what were your first thoughts when you saw these people doing the puppets? Was it off-putting?
Horrified. I remember I was like, why are they on these they're rolling around everywhere. I was like, why is this happening? And then they kind of explain it to you, like what's going on. But like, it's hard as a kid. I remember like trying to act normal because you're trying to understand how it's all working. Like seeing them rolling around and their hands in the thing, then they have a little microphone and then all these things are happening. And it was a really crazy experience. It was really cool though.
That's quite a discipline, isn't it? You can't just walk off the street and take up that gig. There's like acrobatics and all sorts of things involved, and you're doing the character.
Yeah.
Because they're essentially their own puppeteers. They're animating themselves live.
Yeah.
Which is, wow. Mm-hmm. That's not bad. I mean, if you stop and think about it, that's a hell of a gig.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Man, oh man. Well, you got the sweet end of that.
Yeah, I got to watch it in action.
Oops, sorry, I just tripped over Kermit down here. Sorry, down there.
I did fall in one of the episodes.
Jeez.
You could see it. Yeah, I just like disappear and I fall and then I just get back up. It's really funny.
What were some of the difficulties of voicing such an iconic character at such a young age?
I think looking back on it, I think when I was 7 years old, that was just my voice. I wasn't really putting on a character.
Yeah, sure.
It was just me. And I think as I got older, it was easy for me to like go back into it because my voice is just at a higher pitch. So it was just easy for me to, do it. That wasn't difficult. But I think trying to figure out who I was, like, because the voice was me, right? I'm not making another character. So I think I just had difficulty too especially within like voice acting, like creating other voices and figuring out like, who else can I be? Who else can I sound like? Or what would this character sound like? Just because I was always so connected to Dora and people just always associated me with her that I think it was just hard for me to kind of disconnect myself from her, especially how she talked too, because she doesn't talk, like conversationally. She talks like in a very sing-songy way. Mm-hmm. So for doing that for so long, it was just kind of hard to get out of that.
Yeah, that's interesting. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I avoided that by being, having multiple voices in my head, I guess, so that's okay. But that's a wonderful thing. What a great calling card, because it's, it's going to last forever.
Yeah.
In a way, I would think, right?
I would think so, yeah. And I didn't think that for a long time. And, with posting and all the Comic-Cons last year and then the reboot also.
Yeah.
It's crazy to see the response and how many people are so connected to her and the show.
Oh, yeah.
So, and it's global too. Like Dora's dubbed in so many different countries and she's known all over the world. So it's just, it's amazing.
Well, it was the first Nickelodeon show to have a Latina in the lead animated role ever. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
I heard that in most places around the world with the dubbed version, she's teaching English. Is that true?
Yes. It is really funny because I've definitely YouTubed Dora in France and she, looking the way that she looks Latina, and she's speaking French and teaching English. And it's just so cute, like, because you would never think, but I don't know. I love it. I think it's awesome.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
Oh, that must be adorable.
Yeah.
So Dora's voice, the original one, was just your voice as a child. So now coming back as Mummy, did you just think maybe I'll just do my voice now?
Yeah. I thought that would be something, in my mind, I'm kind of still Dora, and now I'm just in my mind, I'm just Dora grown up in a sense.
Sure.
So I know, you try to make it a little more maternal and a little deeper and more in my chest and take a lot of breaths, but essentially it's just me. But I think that was like a nod to my character and to the original voice of Dora.
Yeah.
No, of course, yeah. Well, I think that's comforting for people too. People like that continuation. They like, like when I'll go to a convention or whatever, people will say, well, I remember when I was 6 years old or 10 years old, who was this, that, and the other thing, and then they've got a 6-year-old or a 10-year-old, and kind of pass that love down, and it's very nice. It's comforting. It's nice to know.
Yeah.
So I know the feeling, and that you must feel great about that.
Yeah. I think meeting the fans as an adult has really made me appreciate what I did and the show and the impact so much more. I don't think I really understood anything really when I was a kid. Like I knew how important it was. We did so many different events with the Latino communities, with schools, but I didn't understand how impactful and how much she meant until probably last year, when people would come up to me and be like, Dora was the only person that looked like me on TV, and she's an animated character, so like that, like, made me sad, but also happy. Like, wow, like this is a lot bigger than I ever thought. So it really puts it in a different perspective.
Well, everybody in the world knows Dora the Explorer. I mean, everybody.
Yeah.
I remember there was a joke about her in a movie. It was one of those teenage brat movies, and who do you think you are, Dora the Explorer, something like that. I can't remember the circumstance, but when you make it to that level of just, you're out there in the zeitgeist, you're in the air, you've arrived.
Yeah.
It's
I know.
true.
I hear there's so many different, I don't know how much you guys have seen, but there's so many different like parodies of Dora. Some really extreme and probably not kid appropriate.
Can't be recommended. Ooh.
And then it goes the other extreme, right? Like horror, like scary, like Dora video games, or like an iteration. She's not called Dora, but like, it's like she's like in a horror house or whatever.
Oh,
so like
that's
she's
good.
been
I'm
like
glad that's
taken
not Dora.
over. It's pretty crazy.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
That doesn't sound like copyright at all.
No.
Yeah. Little experience with that myself. We won't be talking about that.
No, we will
I have
not
another
be.
question for you. In doing these conventions, obviously you get to interact with the fans and everything, but has there been any celebrities that like you've looked up to, that you've met or have been starstruck by in doing the convention circuit?
Oh my goodness. Like everyone. I feel like, well, first of all, like imposter syndrome with me, like going into the green room in the back, like forget it. I'm like, I don't even know why or how I'm here right now. But like, I grew up in New York. We recorded in New York. And after I think like the first season, I recorded alone. Like I didn't record with like my cast members anymore. And I didn't ever meet like other voice actors.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I never got a chance to, especially like Nickelodeon, the main studio was in LA. And if I went there every few years, it just so happened that no one was working that day. So like,
oh my gosh,
I never got to meet anyone.
That's no fair. You'd think they'd hook you up with the gang.
I know. Like I would meet, the animators, which was always so fun.
That's good.
But other voice actors, I never got a chance to meet them or like be mentored by them or really kind of understand the ins and outs of like, the industry within voice acting. So that's one of like also the biggest blessings I feel like I've earned doing the cons, is being connected and talking to other voice actors, asking questions and kind of learning things that I never knew before. As a kid, I did everything with my mom. She's an immigrant from Peru. She was in her late 20s when I got cast as Dora. and everything was new for her, and she kind of just went with the flow and kind of did
Sure.
what we were told. We were never taught, this is what you do, this is how things work. So everything kind of felt new to me. So I've made friends with Tara Strong and Richard Horvitz, and they've been so amazing to kind of like guide me and help me and kind of rebuild my foundation in this career. And I've been so fortunate. But yeah, everyone I meet, I'm just like fangirling inside, and I just try to keep calm because I have vomit of the mouth sometimes, and I just say weird things. So I try not to say anything.
I know that one. I've got that.
Yeah. Do you?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I think we all do.
So.
Yes.
You should have seen how nervous Jim was to speak to you, Kathleen. It's crazy.
Well,
oh
there
no!
you go.
Oh no! Please.
Well, I think we'll make it.
No,
I think we'll make it.
When you guys reached out to me, I screamed and I ran to my husband. I was like, "You would never guess who wants to interview
great.
me."
Yay!
Yes.
Well, we're honored. It's a pleasure. It's a joy.
Yeah,
I'm glad you had. I'm glad you had time.
Yeah, no, of course. I have all the time. I don't work a corporate job anymore. Full time,
Yes. Yeah.
figuring out,
Good.
my career in VO. So, this is all exciting.
I don't work in steel mills anymore either, so I understand that. I get it. I get the joy of that.
Yeah, the goal
Believe
is
me.
to not go back, right? That's
The
what
goal
we're
is to not go
doing.
back. Great job. Union member with great hospitalization, but
Yeah.
a little tough.
Yes.
Even if I did, I'd be retired, so I guess I'd be okay. But anyway, it's nice
Right.
to be here.
Yes.
And
for sure.
now I get to hang out with you,
Yeah, I know. It's awesome.
even coast to coast.
yes.
which is
I know.
amazing.
It's amazing.
And you know what's amazing too? When I first started doing these, I would be not the podcast, but oftentimes I would be recording a Jiffy Lube commercial, and they were based in New York. So they'd say, "All right, Jim, do you have your lines?" And I'm going, "Oh God, come on!" And the delay was painful. You're sitting there going,
I thought something was happening right now. I was like, what?
Kathleen's face there was amazing.
That's how painful. Yeah, and it just, you're sitting there going, yes. All right, we'll do it. And we, and so I appreciate that. I really do.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Oh man.
We've come a long way for sure.
Yes, we have. Yes, we have.
Fun fact, I've been trying to be all over the internet. And I started streaming, like me playing video games.
Oh,
And I
no
have
way.
like a love for Disney and Final Fantasy, which is like really strange. So I was trying to figure out which game to play, if I was going to do Final Fantasy first or like a Kingdom Hearts game or a Disney game.
Kingdom Hearts,
Then
Kingdom
eventually
Hearts.
it came into doing Kingdom Hearts. Like all of people
Good.
were like, oh, play a Kingdom Hearts game. So I just finished Kingdom Hearts 1, like right before you guys reached out to me. And I was like, this just like,
Perfect.
it was perfect.
I watched your Agrabah
perfect.
video.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
You see? I wasn't lying. I really did play the game.
Agrabah?
Yeah, I don't know, Jim, if you've ever played this game. It actually might be fun to watch you play this game. But it is so hard. It is not
that would
easy
be
to
fun.
follow. They say not to play. I mean, the first one, like the story is pretty difficult to kind of like figure out gameplay wise. So it was pretty difficult, but it was really fun.
I think
enjoyed,
a lot
like,
of people
all
would
the
pay
different
good
ones.
money to watch Jim get frustrated playing these old video games.
Yeah.
I would definitely pay. I would pay.
Yeah. I get frustrated playing with an Etch-a-Sketch. So this would be deadly. This would be, I'm not bad at darts, right? Chris will tell you.
Okay.
Yeah, we
He
played
wins,
some darts
but I'm
not too
still
long
pretty
ago.
close.
Yeah, Jim won at darts.
Hey, that's pretty good.
There you go.
And pinball. I've seen Jim go at pinball machines for hours.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Yes.
That's awesome.
So plays a mean pinball.
Can you imagine Darkwing Duck, though, raging at playing the old Darkwing Duck Super Nintendo game? I think it'd be hilarious to watch.
Oh,
That could be cool.
that could be. Yeah. And I've got a pretty good Darkwing Duck costume. Drag,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it. Yeah. I've got, no,
That'd be even
but
better.
it's,
You dress.
No.
and playing the game.
He's. Yeah. When there's trouble, you call DW. Let's get dangerous.
Forgive my ignorance, Kathleen, But the other voice actors on the original series, when it first started, were they kids as well?
Yeah. All of them were kids except for the voice of Swiper, who also did the voice of the map.
Okay. So I can't imagine what it must have been like
kids.
for the director, because you said the first season you all recorded together. What was that atmosphere like of just a bunch of kids?
Yeah, it was crazy. I remember we recorded in a booth downtown by Christopher Street, and we were all just running around. And I mean, luckily we all got along really well, and we would just play, and there would always be like a million snacks, and we would just be eating and sugar rush and like all over the place.
Oh, boy. You guys were animated, that's for sure.
Yes, definitely. And I think we recorded a lot of songs probably that day, if my memory is correct. But after that, I think they were just like, no, we're not doing that again. And then it kind of, the groups got smaller. And then it was just me and Boots for a long time. And
And they
then
isolated you guys.
it was just me.
You and Boots.
Yeah.
Well, I can remember stealing a French fry off of one of my kids' plates. They go, "Swiper, no swiping." You know, because I swiped a fry.
Yes.
I was guilty. So I was caught.
Oh, did your
So-
kids watch Dora? I assume so.
sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that.
Yeah, couldn't care less. Yeah, well, I'm not on that show, you little weasel. And, you know,
I know. I don't know why.
Didn't matter.
You should have been on there.
I agree.
It's one of only a
I
few
would've-
shows that
I
Jim
would've
wasn't a part of.
Opportunity. I know. I was looking through your IMDb to see if maybe you were on the show at some point, and I was like,
Damn.
Well, there's a reboot, isn't there?
yeah, there's a reboot.
Well, maybe
There's
if
still an
only I knew
opportunity.
someone on the show
You know what?
that they
Let
could
me-
put in a word for me.
Let me
wait.
start texting.
Hold on. Wait. Kathleen's here now. This is going to work out. This is going to be great.
If I have one thing to do this year is to get you on the reboot. That's priority number one for me right now.
I can boot. I can reboot. Reboot the boot. I'm there. I'm there.
Is there a character that's a boot? Maybe he can just play the boot.
I was just thinking that he
that's-
can play like, what if Boots's Boots started talking?
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
That's it. That could be Jim.
We've just signed
That's
up Jim. He's
true.
now part of Dora the Explorer. Make it happen.
That's it.
And he only speaks in Pig Latin.
How do you feel
to-
about the new animation style of the show?
It'd be educational.
The new animation style, it took initially it's different, so I think it was just hard to kind of see Dora in a different style. But as I watch the show and see it come to life, I really enjoy it. I mean, obviously everything is growing, animation is different. I mean, I love it. I think the colors are more vibrant, and I guess for kids it feels like they're more immersed into the world of Dora, the way like the CG and kind of animation style is. I do have a love and appreciation for, you know, how animation was before. I've always loved to see how kind of that evolved, how
Same here,
that was
yeah.
brought to life. In college, I did a paper on kind of like the evolution of, you know, animation within Disney and Walt Disney, and kind of see how they create depth, or how they did create depth within like the world of Snow
the
White. And I thought,
triplane. Yeah.
yeah, and that was so cool. I was like, this is like masterpiece, like work. And
Yeah.
a lot of people don't know how that was made. So I do appreciate the work and stuff and how animation.
Yeah, it's really fascinating. I've been over there like 100 times, but 1,000 times, and they have the original. I think it was Snow White too. That triplane camera, and the way that they did it, the camera was out here. There was a plate of leaves of forest here, about a foot away. Then 2 feet away, there was a babbling brook. Then back in the distance was the faraway mountains.
Yeah.
And they would move, accordingly, and then they would just animate the characters walking through it, and it was just magic. You know, Walt was a genius.
Yeah.
And he came up with that. It wasn't limited animation,
No.
and it was so. I guess that's why he was Walt Disney, and the rest of us are just fans. Because I sure was one. But
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear you appreciate that, because I
Yeah.
do too.
That's so cool that you saw that in person. I only saw it in like
Oh,
a video,
yeah.
and I was just like, whoa, that's so cool. But
Yeah, it's just sitting out in the hallway.
Wow. Well,
This priceless object. Plus, there's 100 guards around it. I'm sure.
yeah.
You know, you're not getting out of the.
No.
You're not getting out of the hallway with it, but
Yeah.
little bulky anyway. But yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah.
Come a long way, right?
Yeah.
And then there's South Park, and they don't have that. They have cardboard cutouts and bad animation. And that was
But I love
my
that
bad.
too. Like
I
even
do too. It's got its own charm.
yeah, for sure. Do you know the game Paper Mario?
I don't think I do.
Okay, Jim, you have to watch like the cutscenes or even just watch someone play it because it is hilarious. I watched my husband play it, and it's just like they're paper, so the way that they move is just like they're just always like shifting, and they're saying like
Oh, my
really
God.
funny things. Whoever writes a script for that game is awesome because it's just so
that's
funny.
good.
But yeah, I would highly recommend.
Oh, okay.
It. It's really fun.
Well, good.
I guess it depends who your audience is, right? I feel like for kids, that kind of, that new animation, the CG animation, I don't know what the proper term is, but,
Yeah.
I think that's
CGI.
CGI, that's more appealing for them. It's catching the colors and the bubbly kind of features. And I feel like, maybe adults can appreciate a 2D or a different type of, old school kind of animation.
Well, it's what we grew up with, wasn't it? I think kids now just expect that kind of CGI. Because when I was a kid, I was a big Muppets fan, and I just love the show The Muppet Babies, an animated show, right? But my kids love the new version of The Muppet Babies. I said, this is the one I used to watch when I was a kid, and I put it on, and they go 5 minutes, they go, this doesn't look any good. Put the other one on back on. I thought, okay then. It's just kids have expectations now. It's like The Simpsons. I put the old Simpsons on, not interested. New Simpsons, which many say aren't that good anymore, but they just love the visual of it.
Yeah.
It's brighter, I think.
Yeah.
Eye-catching.
So
That's
you
the first
retired
step.
from Dora at the age of 18, I think it was. Was it 18?
Yeah, 18, I got recast.
Was that so? So did you retire or did you get recasted? Was that your decision?
No, I got recasted.
Okay. It always says she retired, and I'm thinking, why would you retire if you could still do the voice?
Well,
I
that's
saw something online where it had to do, and this may just be a rumor, so correct me if I'm wrong. Did it have anything to do with your speech and a retainer?
No, but I've read that also.
Yeah.
So
Isn't that weird?
yeah.
People just make up a story and,
Yeah.
well, you know why? It's because he had that lung transfer with
Right.
a baboon. So he had to take time off.
Right. You're like, I did?
Wait, what?
And then they try and tell you at
What
the
is it?
convention that you're wrong.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's actually happened to me a couple of
Really?
times. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And it was, oddly enough, it was it was only like a year ago. And the other day, it was for The Lion King. And a guy was telling me that, no, you didn't sing Be Prepared. You didn't sing in that. Ed didn't say anything. And I said, well, I know Ed didn't say anything. I didn't say I was playing Ed. Ed was there eating his foot in the background while Jeremy was done. And then I didn't sing the whole song. I didn't sing or sing. All the speaking was Jeremy. But I came in, every new cat big heart. Anyway, I finished the song. Be prepared, and you do the villain laugh. And then this kid's going, no, Ed didn't have anything to say. I know I wasn't. Never mind.
Next
That's
question.
Right. You're right. I didn't.
You're right.
That
Yeah.
wasn't me. Do I have to give back the gold record? I hope not. The platinum, whatever it went.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
That's
Well,
so
conventions are fun, aren't they?
funny. Yeah. They're really fun.
We do like them.
Yeah.
Now, do you have any pet peeves or ridiculous questions that you just get too many of, like I do?
Yes. So many. It's kind of hard to figure out, but they'll come in your mind like randomly. You're like, oh, remember when they asked me that question? And
Yeah.
you're like, what?
Well, I love doing them. By the way, everybody out there, I love you. Keep coming.
Yeah.
Don't take this the right way. Anyway, wrong way. Anyway,
No, of course. It's all in love.
But
We love,
there you go. It's true.
And it's just fun because you get stories, and you
Oh, my
remember all
gosh.
of these people by all of
Yeah.
their questions, the stories that they come to you with, and that stays with
yeah.
you forever.
Yeah. Well, you must have been a great comfort. I mean, I could only imagine these little Latina girls coming up and going, you are it for me, because there wasn't, you were it.
Yeah.
You literally were it. You were someone representing them.
Yeah.
That has to be rewarding.
So rewarding, overwhelming.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like I feel so blessed because it could have been anyone, right? And for it to be me and to have that impact, I really sometimes, I'm already an emotional person as it is, but like if I think about it too much, then I'll just start crying. Because it's
bless your
just,
heart.
it's so special, you know, what we
is.
do, how we touch people. I'm sure at cons, people come to you and cry and tell you their stories. And sometimes it's really heavy.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. But that also puts it in perspective too. Like what we do means something. Our voice means something in whatever character that is. And even just our own voices.
Sure.
So yeah,
Well,
it's
nobody
just
gives
really
a darn
special.
about mine, but yeah, thanks. Thanks for reminding me. No, but I agree. I agree. It's a beautiful thing. You know, we're sitting. I've said it before. We're sitting in these little booths, and we're all alone. Usually, I mean, people. I remember Terry McGovern, who played Launchpad on Darkwing Duck. We did one show together out of 125 shows. One show when we were both in the same room, and that was it. And people hear that, and they just can't believe it.
I know.
And I can't believe it either, kinda.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
but it's he lived in San Francisco, and of course I'm in Southern California, so I understand. It's so nice and for a whole generation plus of little girls to come up, they must just go crazy for you. What a great thing for you.
Yeah. It's funny. When I do the voice, well, when I was younger and I would do the voice, I would ask people to close their eyes. And I think some people do that too. But
Yeah,
mostly
sure.
I did it because I was just so shy as a kid that I didn't want them looking at me like while I was doing the voice. So I would just be like, oh, well, just close your eyes. And they'd be like, why? I'd be like, oh, just picture Dora in your mind and, you know, just do it that way. So that's kind of how it started. But then I started to realize it was more helpful for them because if I didn't ask them to, and sometimes they would just start crying because they couldn't understand. Kind of like, wait, this is Dora standing in front of me, but she doesn't look like Dora, but she sounds like Dora. And then it kind of just you know, they get so confused and then they don't know what to do. So I kind of always
Yes, I do know that.
Yeah, keep doing that as I get older. But it's kind of fun to see people's reactions with their eyes closed, like as you're talking to them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
that.
do that sometimes. I'm going to have to remember that. That's a good tip. Because sometimes, you know, dads will come up and they'll have a little 4-year-old girl and they're like, can you give her some Winnie the Pooh or something, you know?
Yeah.
Well, you're just the sweetest, honey. And she goes,
You see the quiver. Yeah.
why is this guy, why is he sounding, where's Winnie what have you done with him?
Yeah.
Bring him back. Let him go. No, it's okay. It's okay.
Right.
Yeah, you got to watch, you know.
Yeah, I know.
But it's nice to be noticed, I guess, right?
For sure. Yeah.
In one way or the other.
Yeah, and
amazing.
I usually travel with like a life-size Dora doll.
How
And
tall
it has
is Dora in real life?
Okay, if you Google it, it says she's 5'2". I
Oh.
don't know how. So, I don't know
Okay,
who wrote
well, that's-
that, but she's
Taller
not
than me.
5'2".
Someone who never met her.
Yeah, I don't know. But she definitely must be like 3 feet, right? She's 7. I'm so bad.
Well,
I don't
that's
have
pretty
kids
good.
yet. So it's 3 feet. 7-year-old.
7. Yeah, sure.
4 feet.
Whatever you say.
My son's 5.5, and he's about a little bit bigger than that, so he's probably a little bit bigger. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But the thing is, you said you only recently started doing the convention circuit, right? So for all this time, fans of the show who grew up watching it had no idea, maybe A, who you were, who the voice actually was, or B, how to meet you. So it must have just come as a big surprise and be so exciting. Oh my God, I can actually finally now meet Dora.
Yeah. I feel like people would come up to my table, and if there were other women at the table, they didn't know. They were like, oh, is she here? Is she not here? Or like, is one of you, who's Dora? Like they didn't know what I look like.
Well, you don't have
yeah.
big goggle eyes either. You know, those big brown eyes of hers are.
Need to get a haircut.
I have her right here.
Yeah, I need a haircut. Is she here? Yeah. Oh, there she is. God, she's cute. Wow.
She's huge.
There
I have
she
a bunch.
is now. Oh, that's amazing.
Where did you get that from?
So this one, I usually when I did the voice for dolls, they would send me one whenever, was going to the stores. And that one, my mom had in her attic for years. I completely forgot about it. And
Really?
when I started doing the cons, my mom's like, okay, take all your Dora stuff from the attic. You can keep it at your house and maybe you can use it. And I got this huge box. I was like, what is this? I'm pulling it apart. And she was in her box, original box, everything, like untouched. And I unboxed her and I was like, wow, I wonder if she still works. And then my voice started playing and it still.
Really?
Yeah. Now she doesn't work. I think she's been on the plane too many times. But yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Thankfully,
That's
the voice is
pretty
there,
darn
though,
cool.
so you can just do it for her.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's right. I was thinking one way or another, you'll be able to hear her.
Right, exactly.
I can't believe they made one that big that can speak.
Yeah.
That's
like a
cool.
life size. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
I mean, did they sell those? Because I want one.
Yeah, there's a girl that I follow online. She collects like a bunch of dolls, Dora and I think Powerpuff Girls. But she has, I think, 23 of this doll.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That they have their own apartment.
They must have, yeah. And
There's-
I'm like so tempted to like reach out to her and be like, can I buy maybe one or two from you because mine is kind of like going down a little.
Well, it's
But-
kind of winding down.
Yeah,
And you have to replace batteries, obviously. And
yeah. But her head's kind of
no,
like
Jim,
wobbly.
she's magic.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
One day at a con,
I'm
her
sorry,
head's
I
just going to
take
fall
back-
off and the kids are going to scream.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Oh
had that.
goodness. Hopefully I'm not there for that.
I did singing telegrams for a day once. And this is like the first 6 months of my career. And it was Easter. And I was at the Easter Bunny. And I went to this house and Happy Easter to your kid. You know, this goofy voice. And I realized I was breathing the same air over and over again. And I had to pass out. So I had to pull off my head and go, whew, sorry, I had to get that. And the kid goes, ah! You know, the Easter Bunny just pulled off his head. And there's some guy in there. And I just hope, no, but in fact, make sure this isn't on the podcast. We can edit that out, right? I mean, we don't have to.
You never
'Cause
know.
the
Maybe
people-
you'll find the person that saw you.
Yeah. Yeah, the kid's, he's like 35, and he goes, yeah, I remember that. I hated that guy. So there he is. That's what he's doing now. Oh, man, I'm sending him a letter. So, yeah, we'll edit that out, right? Yeah. Okay, good.
Well, Kathleen, was Dora a part of your life the last 15 years?
Not really. I feel like when I got recast, I was graduating from high school, and I was trying to find out who I was, like who I wanted to be. You know, at that age, it's such like a transitional period, and you're going to college, and you have all of these different things changing. It kind of was like a good thing, I feel like, for me, looking back on it, being recast and kind of figuring out, okay, like, what do I want to do? Who am I outside of Dora? And I feel like I kind of left Dora in the past at that point. And I was like, I'm going to just kind of not focus too much on that part of my life and try to build something new. I think that's kind of what my mentality was at the time. So I didn't really, talk about her that much, or wasn't really too involved with kind of what the show was doing. I wasn't watching the new episodes. I always loved seeing her everywhere and but I never kind of associated myself with the show until now, until the reboot.
Mm-hmm. Was there any feeling of resentment?
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
No. Yeah, no. I mean, so for the show, I always knew, the shows on Nickelodeon that time. I think after Dora, there was like Ni Hao Kai Lan and the Backyardigans, and they all had kid casts also, because that was kind of like what they wanted to do. They wanted that authentic child's voice. So I knew, all of us kind of knew we were getting older. We were 17, and we're like, okay, like we knew we weren't going to do this forever, and we knew there was a potential recast. And Boots was a boy, and he got recast a lot sooner, just because with boys, when you hit puberty, their voices change. So we knew it was coming, and I think at that point I kind of was ready to go also. So no resentment. And even now, even the new Dora, Like, I love
Yeah.
her so much. She's so cute, and I just love seeing her kind of take on the legacy
Sure.
and keep going.
Well, it's kind of like seeing one of your kids succeed.
Yeah.
You know, because they wouldn't be doing it without you.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's it. That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
Dora would not be moving on or moving 1 inch forward were it not for you. And that'll never change.
Yeah.
So good for you.
Thank you.
That's something. That's definitely a feather for the hat, right?
Yeah. One of Big Bird's feathers.
Yes, hopefully.
That guy.
I think I have one of his feathers, actually. Someone gave me one at a con.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
I think I have it somewhere.
Yeah.
What a strange present to give somebody. I have one of Big Bird's feathers. Here, take this.
Yeah. Well, it was, who was it? I think it was Kermit.
The frog.
It's killing me now. I'll figure it out.
Oh,
We're going to have to cut this
Kermit.
part out because I'm not too sure.
Yeah, right. Jim Henson, you mean? Was it Jim Henson?
The man himself.
No.
Do you mean
No, I would've never
do
got.
you mean the new voice of Kermit or the one that that changed over about 4 or 5 years ago?
I think the one that changed 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay, he was Steve somebody, I believe. Steve somebody.
Yes. Steve, yes.
Yeah.
The
Good old
person that
Steve,
he
I
was
think was his
with, he gave me one. And I can't remember. I think Steve was also on Sesame Street at some point. Yeah.
Sunny day.
What was so the set of Sesame Street? As a kid, you think it's a real place. Was it a big set, Sesame Street? What did it look like?
No, it wasn't that big at all. It was kind of just that main street and kind of like the stairs. From what I remember, it was kind of like 3 different sections. It was
Okay.
The trash can.
yeah, there was the trash can. Then it was like that hallway where Big Bird usually comes out and Snuffleupagus. I think probably because it was like a big space. And then the porch or like the steps in front of the house. And then across from
stoop.
that was the grocery store or the store. I forget.
I've read that you want to voice a Disney princess at some point. But what are some of the Disney princesses that you, if any, gravitated towards when you were growing up?
You read a lot about me. I'm getting nervous.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, like I said, like so many, kids and people all over. Like if you love Disney, you kind of just like love it hard and you grew up on like all of the movies and all of the characters. And The Little Mermaid was my favorite. I would rewind that VHS tape. Every time it ended, I'd be like, rewind it and just play it back.
Oh.
Yeah, and I always wanted to be a Disney princess, but I never saw one that looked like me, and I kind of felt like it was not possible. And I always sang growing up. My mom put me in pageants and all that stuff, so I was always singing or doing
good.
something. Yeah, and so I would always sing the songs and do all that stuff, and I was like, oh, maybe one day I can, voice one, or who knows. But everyone at Nickelodeon like knew that, or the people that I worked with. And the last episode that I don't know if it was the last episode that I recorded, but it's the last episode of season 4, which was my final season that I recorded. And funny enough, I have the doll right here.
Oh, wow.
It was Dora's fairy tale adventure, and Dora becomes a princess. So it was
Perfect.
Yeah, it was kind of special to me, and that I got to become a princess before I kind of left the show and kind of fulfill my princess dreams. But then they brought me back to voice Cinderella in another episode, so that was kind of cool too.
That's not bad.
Yeah,
Well, she's definitely way up there in the pantheon of
yeah.
princesses. And
Yeah.
my gosh.
So
Did you get to keep the slippers?
Wait for Disney to buy out
I wish.
Nickelodeon, then it'll be all happening.
yes.
Yeah, then they'll own everything.
Yeah.
Right.
Give us a
Might as
tip. Whenever that happens, let us know and we'll buy more stock.
You mentioned earlier interior design. Is that something that you want to pursue still now, or is it back to VO for you?
No, so man, I've had so many jobs outside of voice acting and through college. I've worked at so many restaurants. I've sold life insurance. I've worked retail in so many different stores. But I kind of fell into interior design. I went to college for communications, and I almost minored in Latin American studies. But after, when I was still trying to be an actor, working at restaurants, I was also working at Equinox at the time, the gym. So I could have a free membership and have that.
Well, that's a cool place.
Yeah, it's cool. It has a lot of cool amenities and things. But I, got connected with a few people, and I ended up getting a chance to be like the corporate receptionist, which was like in Flatiron at the time. So, I was like, okay, I'll take it. And I had like a steady job. And I did that for like a year, and then they were building hotels. So they were building out that team. And I was just friendly with the senior vice president of design, just from her coming in and out. And her assistant had left and she needed a new assistant. So she asked me if I wanted to apply, and I was like, yeah, sure. Then I got the job, and I kind of just learned from being her assistant kind of design and how things worked. And then eventually, I don't even know how it happened, but then I became like a design manager and kind of helped build the things within the room. They call it OS&E, operating supplies and equipment. So it's like the bedding, picking out the mattress, the snacks that go in the drawer, like all of those types of things. And I did that, and then COVID hit and I got furloughed from that job. And then I moved to a private firm in New York. And I did project management up until last year, and I loved it. I feel like I'm good at it. But yeah,
that helps.
I have a love for it, but I like where I am now.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, well, we do too. I like it too.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to envision the people taking your resume. Oh, it says here you worked for Nickelodeon. You're the voice of Dora the Explorer? That's just...
Yeah.
That's... You're applying for a gig at a restaurant, but you were the voice of the most iconic... arguably the most iconic female animated character of the 21st century.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was definitely at the top
good.
of my resume.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, I've got tugboat, deckhand, and steelworker on mine, too. So I feel your pain or joy, as it may be.
Exactly. It depends how you look at it.
Yes. Yeah, and I sold Collier encyclopedias for a week.
Did you?
So, yes, that was
Wow.
me. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was me.
Your parents are going, get out of here. And that was probably me. I was the guy that they told to leave.
You know what? I think my parents bought the
Really?
whole set.
Well, then that definitely wasn't me. 'Cause that would have been a successful stop.
No, I really do.
Oh, I can't
remember having
believe
all
that.
the different books.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
That's yet another thing we have in common.
Yeah, you see?
That's I feel really good now.
I'm going to call her after this and ask her about them, see if she still has them.
Please. And tell her thanks for the tip. And
You got it.
and I think you were sleeping at the time. And she told me to, shh, I'll buy them if you leave. So I did, and she did.
Yeah. Oh, man. I was such a sucker for like the QVC things.
Oh.
I would get in trouble so many times because I'm just such an easy sell. I would just be like, oh, I need that. And then you just buy it.
Yeah. It's an amazing Wiebelfelzer, which was Mad Magazine's gizmo that nobody knew what it was. And so there you go.
Yeah.
I'll sell
I
you
still
one
need
later.
it. I need that actually.
Next
don't
time
know
I
for
see
what,
you,
but-
I'll bring one along, and it's $50, by the way.
Oh,
so
perfect.
Start
That's
saving. Yep, that's all. But it's a Wiebelfelzer. So you got that going for me.
Right.
Or something. Kathleen, I'm so glad you were here today.
Thank you.
But we don't want to tie it up yet, guys, right? Because don't we have one more order of business, Chris?
Well, we have a game we play, don't we, Chris?
Oh, yes.
We do. I want you to explain it this time because I want to hear how somebody else explains it. I always explain it.
There you
Now
go.
there's pressure.
Yeah, go take it away, bro.
Yeah,
Okay.
the pressure's on.
So, Kathleen, what we do is we get you to say a voice as Dora, one of her most iconic quotes, and then Jim will say that same quote as one of his iconic characters, and then he'll say one, just say, for example, Winnie the Pooh. He'll say a Winnie the Pooh quote, then you have to then quote that same quote in Dora's voice.
Okay.
All right,
Do
well,
I
you
go
go first. You say one of Dora's most iconic quotes, and then Jim, you say this as Winnie.
I was wondering too if maybe we could do it in because I got my cheat sheet here,
Ooh.
and I've got some. Will you pass the honey? And I've got it in Spanish.
Oh. Oh.
And have you ever been to the 100 Acre Wood? Got it in Spanish. A friend of mine helped me. And thank you, Dora, for being here today. I've got that for you, too.
Oh, I love that.
So maybe I'll start that. I'll throw that last one in, and then we could do the regular one because I want you to critique me and be evil and just tear me apart because I'm not going to do it well. But this is Winnie the Pooh speaking in Spanish, saying thank you, Dora, for being here today. I hope. Okay.
You got this.
Gracias, Dora, por estar aquí hoy.
That was perfect. I'm sorry.
Thank you. That's the
was so
word I was looking
cute.
for.
Perfecto.
Okay.
So good. Oh, I love
Muy
that.
bien. De nada. Okay, I've used up all my
I
Spanish.
loved it. No, it was great. Do they dub the show? Because you should just do it in Spanish.
Yeah, I'm sure they do. Yeah. In fact, one of the craziest things I've ever seen, and it wasn't me, but they did Colors of the Wind from Pocahontas and all these singers, and it was in like 18 different languages.
Wow.
And the song was seamless. Sounded like the same person singing it.
Really?
I mean, they had one in Tagalog and French and German, Ukrainian,
wow.
Brazilian, all around the world. It was really cool.
Oh, I'm
but
gonna look
no,
that up.
It's not me. Nah,
Not you.
not me.
Not
in
yet.
all those other languages. Not yet.
Right.
See.
See.
Okay, so now go ahead, take it away. Who should we
well,
start?
we said it before, so I have to do swipe or no swiping. I mean,
Okay.
just
with? Okay,
okay. But I'll say
So-
it 3 times as we do.
okay.
Okay.
Swiper, no swiping. Swiper, no swiping. Swiper, no swiping.
Okay, I'm not going to be able to do it that high. And how about, should we have Tigger do this?
Let's do it as 3 different. Let's do it as Tigger. Let's do it as Darkwing. Let's do it as Winnie. All 3.
Okay, all right. Swiper, no swiping. A swiper, no swiping. Swiper, no swiping. There were a little Darkwing on the end there.
I love it. So good.
That was frightening.
Why don't you be Dora in the reboot as all of those characters?
Oh yeah, let's do that.
I'd love to hear
then-
Dora
then we
say
wake up.
the quote, Jim, the big one, the braver than you seem. That the iconic one.
Oh, but that's like a paragraph.
Oh, it's 3 lines. You'll be fine.
You could write it in the chat for me.
Okay, well then that's on you, Brendan. You brought it up. Go ahead, write it in the chat, wise guy.
Oh, I'll find it now then, Jim.
You're braver than your beans. No, you're braver than you believe, smarter than you think, and bouncier than you thunk you did was be.
All right, I'll find the actual
That
quote.
last part up. Yeah.
I also thought it would be funny to do what Darkwing Duck says as Dora's voice. Like, what do you say? I'm the
terror that
terror
flaps in the
flaps
night. Yeah.
night.
I'm the, terror
I'm the
that
winged
flaps in
scourge
the-
that pecks at your nightmares. I am Darkwing Duck.
Yeah.
We'll do it in the voice, Jim.
But I should do it in the voice.
Well, maybe just the
That
first
was really
line.
boring.
I'm gonna forget
That
the
vo-
rest.
Yeah, that voice gets...
Just say it as Darkwing, and then we'll get it as Dora.
Here we go. I am the terror that flaps in the night. I am the winged scourge that pecks at your nightmares. I am Darkwing Duck.
I am the terror that flaps in the night. In English, we say night. In Spanish, we say noche. Can you say noche?
Noche? No.
Good job.
Apparently not. But now you have to say, I am Darkwing Duck. That's Dora.
I am Darkwing Duck.
Very good.
Thank you.
God, if cute was a weapon, we'd be dead.
That's like
My
the best
goodness.
compliment I think I've ever gotten. Love that.
Oh, well, good.
Well, obviously, now,
Just made it up.
Kathleen, we want to boost your social media up. So let's promote all your social media here because you got your streaming happening, you got your TikToks. Let's plug it all.
Yes. Everything is at my name, Kathleen Herles, except for YouTube. It's the Kathleen Herles because Kathleen Herles was taken. I don't know by who, but not by me. So
I had that too.
yeah, I don't know if I even found who the other one is, but I do have a quick little. I guess we can call it a game. You don't have to include it, but I think it's funny because
No, let's do it.
I bought. Okay, I'll explain the story after. Okay, but Jim, This doll that I'm going to hold up is a character that you played, but you have to guess who it is. I'm going to show you only the back of the doll.
Oh, great. Oh, jeez.
It may not be what it seems. I'll just say that.
It's not a bear. Is it a snowman? No.
Looks like a rabbit.
Are those bunny ears?
Is it Jim in the Easter Bunny costume?
Oh.
No, but now knowing that story, this is so much funnier now.
It's just crazy enough to work. But you're sure it's a character of mine?
Yeah. Do you give up?
I'd give up.
Okay. Here we go.
Oh, you were cheating. You were cheating.
It's my favorite. I love it so much. I had to show you. But now with your story, I mean, you need this now.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I might have one. I was actually looking around. I've got a few memorabilias here.
Yeah.
A few thousand.
Just a few. Yeah.
But I don't have that one. So fine. She picks.
Whenever I
the
walk
one.
around and I see something new that's Winnie the Pooh, I go, I should buy that for Jim. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got it. He's got it. Yeah.
Or he probably has it.
Yeah,
something like that.
He's already got it. Yeah.
Yeah. I actually found this in Tokyo Disney last year.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Jim,
I had
and
to
Chris,
get it.
you recently went to Tokyo, didn't you? Was it Tokyo you went to? Or was it?
Did you?
I went to Tokyo, but I didn't make it to Tokyo Disney.
Oh, okay.
Then you didn't really go.
I know.
No, I'm just
I think
kidding.
we're going again
Well,
in
now
January.
we have an
though,
excuse.
so
Yeah,
make
no,
our
it's
trip over there.
beautiful. Yeah, it's like the top Disney park, I feel. Oh, that's
We
what
did
they
just
say.
go to
good.
Disney Paris. Disney Paris is awesome as
Oh.
well. Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
it
never been
was
to that
not
one.
horrible.
I swear the
really
rides
amazing.
the rides are awesome. I
Wow.
love the rides
Okay.
there.
Cool.
Yeah, they know how to do that over at the House of Mouse.
Yeah,
They're getting good at it, aren't they?
they're getting
And
real
they can
good.
smoke.
Too
They
good,
smoke
maybe.
cigarettes in Paris in Disneyland. It's insane.
The what?
They can still smoke. They can smoke cigarettes in Disneyland Paris. That shocked
Really?
me so much. Seeing people walking around the park smoking cigarettes. It was so French.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It just then. Did you feel like you needed to also have a cigarette? Did you feel like left out?
I actually did. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did.
You don't want to be left
Not
out.
I. No, see, not I. I could honestly say I've got every cigarette I've ever smoked in my hand. Every single one. Yeah, I never smoked a cigarette. You know, my dad, God rest his soul, he smoked constantly, and all I did with my little 5-year-old self, I just thought, okay, that stinks. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
I just thought it stunk. I'm not a health nut, but
Right. Yeah.
I said, no, never mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, there you have it.
Yeah. Well,
So-
good for you.
It's important for your voice acting anyway to not smoke, right, Jim?
Well, yeah.
I would think, yeah.
I have one more suggestion. Tell me if you guys are game. Do you think we could do like a little improv conversation between Dora and Winnie the Pooh?
Sure.
You don't have to. I'm just throwing it out there.
What's the conversation going to be about?
It has to be about honey.
Do it.
Or
Yeah.
about swiping.
Or
Yeah.
what if Dora teaches Pooh how to speak Spanish?
Okay.
Hola, I'm Dora. What's your name?
My name is Winnie the Pooh, and it's lovely to meet you.
Hi, Winnie. It's lovely to meet you, too. What do you like to eat?
Well, let me think. Think. I usually enjoy a little honey on my honey. And then for dessert, I get some honey.
That sounds delicioso. Can I try some?
Yes, but not too much. Just kidding. You can have all you want.
Gracias. Thank you. Uh-oh. I think I hear Swiper. He may try to swipe your honey. If we see him, we have to say swipe or no swiping 3 times. Can you say it with me?
Of course I can. Anything for honey.
Okay, here we go. Swiper, no swiping.
No swiping.
Swiper, no
Swiper,
swiping.
no swiping.
Swiper, no swiping. Good job. He didn't swipe your honey.
I don't know what I would do without you, Dora.
Oh,
I just have to keep on bouncing. That's wonderful. Thank you. Hooray.
That was awesome.
I think we've just found our new podcast game.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. Just
Thank
reenact
you.
scenes. I love that.
That
was
is
fun.
awesome.
That's the crossover we never knew we needed right there.
Yes. We should do it.
Yes, it really
we'll do it in
is.
person in August.
Well, let's do it. Now, I was going to say, my final question, is there anything we should know about? Anything at all that we should be thinking about to referencing your next moves or wherever it may be or however?
Yeah, just follow me on all of my social media. I try to
Of course.
post and keep everyone updated on what I'm doing and all
Good,
on
good.
there. And yeah, just send me positive vibes my way,
Yes.
and that I
Well, we
find
can do that.
my next adventure.
Okay.
The links to all of Kathleen's social media and website will be available in the description of this video /podcast.
Thank
Fantastic.
you guys.
Thank you very, very much, Kathleen. Who's going to take us home out here?
You do it, Chris.
I opened up. You take us home.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you so much, guys, for checking out this episode here of Tuned In with Jim Cummings, joined by Kathleen Herles, aka Dora the Explorer. Don't forget to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you do find this show. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube and be sure to follow Kathleen on all of the social medias and check her out at any upcoming convention she is appearing at. Thank you again, Kathleen, for your time and all the best.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye, guys.
Thank you. It was nice meeting you.
Bye-bye.
Nice to meet you.